The Crucible of a Queen, Anne Boleyn's formative years. The name conjures images of scandal, betrayal, and ultimately, execution. But the story we often hear focuses solely on her dramatic downfall, obscuring the crucial years that shaped her. Her teenage years, often overlooked, are the key to understanding the woman who dared to challenge a king. These were the years that forged her ambition, honed her resilience, and ultimately sealed her fate. Anne was born around 1501, some sources suggest 1507, at Hever Castle, Kent, England. Anne was born into a family on the rise, a family hungry for power and prestige. Her father, Thomas Boleyn, was a shrewd and ambitious diplomat, a man determined to elevate his family's status. She was the daughter of Thomas Boleyn and Lady Elizabeth Howard. Anne was born into a noble, ambitious family. Her early childhood, at the age of 12 or 13, Anne was sent to the Netherlands and then to the French court, which was rare and prestigious for a young English girl at the time. She was sent away from the quiet halls of Hever Castle to the dazzling courts of Europe. Imagine a young girl, heart-racing, leaving behind her family and homeland, bound for courts where power, elegance, and intrigue reigned. She first arrived at the court of Margaret of Austria in the Netherlands, a Renaissance powerhouse known for intellect and refinement. Anne quickly impressed Margaret with her manners and intelligence. She was now on a stage filled with royalty, scholars, and diplomats. Margaret of Austria wrote that Anne was so bright and pleasant for her young age. From age 13 through 20, she spent at the glittering French court. Her mother, Elizabeth Howard, came from an even more powerful aristocratic lineage, connecting Anne to some of the most influential families in England. This privileged upbringing provided Anne with access to the finest education and opportunities. She first stayed in Mechelen, modern-day Belgium, under the household of Margaret of Austria, a highly cultured and intelligent regent of the Habsburg Netherlands. Margaret reportedly adored Anne, praising her. Anne then moved to France around 1515, serving Queen Claude, wife of King Francis. For 7 years, she absorbed the elegance, language, fashion, courtly behavior, and political savvy of the French court. During this time, she likely encountered Renaissance humanism, courtly flirtation, and religious reform ideas, all of which would influence her future role as queen. She learned languages, mastered music, and refined her social graces. These skills were not merely for show, they were the foundation upon which she would navigate the treacherous waters of the Tudor court. Anne's teenage transformation. Known for her dark eyes, olive skin, and intelligence, Anne was not considered a conventional beauty. However, her charisma, education, and grace made her stand out. Anne's European sophistication would one day mesmerize King Henry VIII. Her teenage years took a pivotal turn when she was sent to the European continent. Primarily, she spent her time in France. This period was transformative, shaping her character and worldview in ways that England never could have. Anne's teenage experience laid the foundation for her intellectual engagement with religion and politics. With her unique upbringing, and unlike many English noblewomen, Anne wasn't raised in the conservative, sheltered English court. Her cosmopolitan upbringing gave her a broader worldview and a sharp sense of diplomacy and court politics. In France, Anne served as a lady-in-waiting, first to Mary Tudor, the English princess briefly married to King Louis XII, and later to Queen Claude of France. She was immersed in the sophisticated and dazzling French court. She honed her skills in dance and the art of conversation, becoming a captivating and accomplished young woman. It was here that she developed the charm and intellectual prowess that would later capture the attention of King Henry VIII. She was immersed in a world of clever conversations which were tools of influence. Anne also learned courtly flirtation, watching women wield power with grace and intelligence. She admired Marguerite of Navarre, the king's sister, who was a reformist thinker and poet, perhaps an early influence on Anne's future interest in religious reform. The French court was a melting pot of new ideas and cultural influences. Anne was exposed to Renaissance art and literature, a world away from the more conservative atmosphere of England. She encountered burgeoning humanist philosophies, ideas that challenged traditional religious doctrines and emphasized individual potential. She was the true making of a court star. During these formative years, Anne wasn't just learning how to survive in court, she was learning how to dominate it, while her sister, Mary Boleyn, had been known for beauty and passivity. These qualities, so different from the demure and obedient women typically found at the English court, would ultimately set her apart. Anne's time in France instilled in her a profound sense of self-worth. She developed a fierce determination to achieve her goals, a quality that would later define her reign as queen. Her confidence in navigating royal courts, her ability to charm and challenge King Henry VIII. Without this unique international education, Anne might never have become the enigmatic figure who altered the course of English history. She observed the intricate power dynamics of the French court, learning how to navigate its complexities with grace and intelligence. This understanding of power and how to wield it fueled her desire for influence and ultimately the crown. The endurance Anne displayed throughout her life, even in the face of unimaginable pressure, can be traced back to these formative years. Courtly life, even in the glittering French court, was not without its challenges. She endured the political machinations of her family, always striving to prove her worth and secure her position. This constant pressure honed her resilience, preparing her for the even greater trials that lay ahead. Anne Boleyn's teenage years were not merely a prelude to her reign, a footnote in the grand narrative of Tudor history. They were a crucible in which the future queen was forged. These years reveal a young woman of intelligence, ambition, and remarkable resilience. These were the qualities that defined her, both in life and in death, and continue to fascinate us centuries later. If you enjoyed this glimpse into Anne Boleyn's mysterious teenage years, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more enticing videos just like this. There's so much more royal drama, hidden history, and captivating stories to tell. Thanks for watching.